Okay. Well, thank you and welcome to all of you that are tuning in right now. This is a live broadcast forgiveness hypnotherapy session. And yeah, I'm just really inspired. Today has actually been an incredibly, just an amazing day of miracles for me. And just to cap it all off with a beautiful opportunity to just let the love pour through is always the best. So yeah, this has been quite exciting for me. That I have a retreat coming up actually tomorrow. I'm here at the Peace House in Cincinnati. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Erik Archbold, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for about 10 years, actually more like 12 years. Not that time really matters. It's really about devotion and how our devotion to Spirit now is all that really matters. But sometimes people find it helpful to know how many years you've been studying it. And prior to that, I was a hypnotherapist, and I did hypnotherapy as a career. It was quite a successful career for me in the sense that I did a lot of seminars and a lot of private clients, and I did that from about the time I was 25 until I think about the time I was 32. I'm 37 now. And at some point during my hypnotherapy career, I found the book Disappearance of the Universe. And for those of you who are into the Course, you've probably heard of this book, and you may have read it. And I know for many Course students, it was kind of the gateway into the Course. They call it the can opener. Some people have called it like a can opener to really crack the code so that the Course can be understood. And yeah, that was a huge revelation for me to discover that book and to hear the words that God did not create this world. Just a shocking idea that I remember just kind of doing a double take. I had to read it a few times to make sure what I was reading on the page actually said that. But the amount of relief that I experienced in that moment when I saw that that's what it was saying, and it went on to say how this world is a dream. It was just, I was in a bookstore, and I just started crying and laughing simultaneously. I didn't care if anyone in the book, there wasn't really anyone else in the bookstore actually. It was kind of a quiet, I didn't care though if there were. I was in ecstasy, just going, this is what I've always known. I've always felt that this world was just a dream, and the idea that God didn't create it, wow, that just makes a lot of sense. That explains a lot of things. So yeah, I continued to do hypnotherapy for a few years after finding the Course, but yeah, I began to just really tune into the realization that my purpose wasn't really to try to change the world anymore and try to save other people or heal other people. That it was really about healing my own perception. And so I started just using the hypnotherapy seminars as an opportunity to be very tuned in and very attentive to my own thoughts. And yeah, and to remember that it was all for me, that it wasn't really about it didn't really matter what words came through me. I didn't have to be so concerned anymore about my hypnotherapy techniques, because I realized that it was really the non-judgment. It was the attitude. It was the state of mind that I was in that would make all the difference. And I was just talking to a friend the other day, actually, she was saying, gosh, I really want to be helpful, and I don't know if I'm being helpful enough. I want to be helpful to other people, and I feel like I want to be more helpful than I am. And I told her, well, it's the desire of your heart is really in the right place, but what you really want to focus on is where you are in your mind, and whether you're listening to the Spirit or whether you are listening to the ego. And if you're listening to the Spirit, then you are being maximally helpful. You're being maximally helpful every time you're listening to the Spirit. And when you're listening to the ego, you're not being helpful at all. and there isn't really any in between. It's not like you can be helpful to different degrees. You're always being maximally helpful, or you're not being helpful at all. And so, yeah, that was really freeing. She's like, wow, okay, so it's not about people, it's not about anything other than what is my state of mind. So, yeah, during this hypnotherapy session, I'm just going to be basically tuning my own mind into the Holy Spirit and sharing whatever I hear, which I trust will be maximally helpful for everyone who happens to be listening. And even, in the Course, it even refers to the idea that there's like a ripple effect, that really it's the whole sonship is healed when you're in your right mind. It's not really about even the words or about being physically connected at all. It's really that there is only one mind that we share, and when I accept the atonement for myself, then I accept it for everyone. And that's what Jesus meant when he said in the Course, "When I awoke, you were with me." So, yeah, I had this, I had that idea come to me for the title, that forgiveness is my only function here, which is taught in the Course in many, many places. That there's a lesson 192 is, I have a function God would have me fill, and basically just goes into how forgiveness is everything. And there's another lesson that forgiveness offers me everything that I want. And so when we are choosing to practice forgiveness, we're being maximally productive. I remember hearing a funny story about David Hoffmeister, when he was just kind of beginning to study the Course and dive in deeper to it, and just reading for hours and hours a day. He would just sit in his room, and his biological father would kind of get angry, like, you're wasting your time, you're being a bum, go get a job, you're being completely unproductive. And David would be listening to the Holy Spirit telling him, actually, you're being maximally productive right now by listening to me and by studying this book that came from me. So it's everything in this world is upside down and backwards. And when it looks like we're being lazy, and when we're being completely unproductive from the government's perspective or from the human perspective, we're not contributing to the gross national product or doing anything that the world would call productive, that's probably when we're actually being maximally productive, because we're willing to listen and tune in and just feel the unconscious mind. That's really what hypnotherapy is for. It's really about getting in touch with the unconscious mind. In the Course, Jesus says that you have to be willing to face the full extent of your own self-hatred. And that, I think people read that and go, that doesn't sound fun at all. That sounds pretty ugly and dark, and I don't know if I really want to even consider that. And yeah, it definitely can sound daunting, and I think that's why he also, throughout the Course, makes it, he keeps reassuring us that he's with us, that we have the lamp that will dispel the darkness, and you're not alone. And yes, the ego is a very, very dark thought system, and and it's running the show. It's running in the unconscious mind, basically just directing you without you realizing it most of the time. But every single instant that you're willing to just tune in and listen to me, then we can shine this light of who we are, of what actually is, and see the ego for what it is, which is nothing. It's really just a false thought system that has absolutely no meaning whatsoever, and it's nothing but darkness. It doesn't have any real substance to it. Like when you walk into a dark room, the darkness itself doesn't have any substance. The moment you flip on a light switch, the darkness just disappears. And so that's what we're going to be doing in this hypnotherapy session together. It's an opportunity to be willing to just relax and completely surrender to this healing process that the Holy Spirit is guiding all of us through simultaneously, and just being open to see what there is to see. All of us have different, seemingly unique and individual issues. We all have different, seemingly individual fears. In the ultimate sense, all of our issues are really one issue. They all reflect the belief in separation from God, the thought that we actually separated from God and have basically ruined everything. and the Spirit is reminding us that no, this is impossible. It isn't. The idea that you could have separated from God is just completely laughable. Because how could you separate from what you are and your source? How could you separate from that which is everywhere? And how could you separate from God if God wills that you be with Him eternally? So it's a funny idea, but it shows up. You can know that you're believing in separation anytime that you feel upset, even if you just feel a minor irritation, or if you stub your toe, even a slight twinge of pain or boredom or any emotion or feeling that is not the peace of God and the joy of heaven is basically an unholy instant. It's a moment in which we're reliving the separation from God by our own election, because we've chosen it. And so it really helps us get in touch with this amazing power of our mind. Our mind is infinitely powerful. It's a mind that was given the exact same power of creation that God has, and yet it seems like we've misused it for the purpose of it deluding ourselves, and then blaming the delusion on the world, and saying that, well, I'm this way because I was raised in a very abusive family, or I don't have very good genes. My mom was like this, and my grandma was like this, and or he did that to me, and so I have every right to be angry. And it's a tough pill. It's a tough pill to swallow, but but the Course is really trying to help us take responsibility and say, no, none of your upsets are really coming from what you experienced in the past, even 1 second ago. All of your upsets are coming from a decision that you're making right now, this very instant, to separate yourself from the love of God. And then very quickly what you do is you then project out a scenario which seems to occur in the past. You project it out onto the screen, and then you have a scapegoat. So you can seem to have a good reason, a justifiable reason for feeling the way that you feel. And yeah, it's just, he's really saying your mind is so powerful that you're amazing at deluding yourself. And I want to help you just learn to see that, to see how amazing your mind is and how powerful it is, and that you actually don't have to do this anymore. It was never a fun game. It was never worth it from the beginning. There was no point. There was no helpful reason for separating from your source. It was really just a crazy, tiny, mad idea. And if you're willing to just, see how much pain it actually causes you, then you'll be happy. You'll be happy because you'll choose again. So, yeah, I wanted to kind of give that general overall context to start with, because this is all based on these teachings from the Course. And I thought I would use the next few minutes to just go into hypnotherapy a little bit more in detail, just in case anyone has any questions about it, or any, most people think of hypnosis and they think of, barking like a dog on stage at one of those comedy shows, or, one of those, or they think of losing control. They think of, this might be kind of dangerous, or what if the hypnotherapist tells me tells me to, gives me some suggestion, which has some kind of negative effect on my life. And yeah, it's funny, and I was never able to really adequately explain this in the seminars that I did in my career before the course, because the people who attended the seminars, they didn't have any kind of necessarily have a spiritual background with which to really understand what I was saying. But I feel comfortable telling all of you that the idea of that you could be controlled, or that you could be that you could receive like negative suggestions, it's a very common, I mean, it's a very deep belief. It's actually based on the authority problem, the idea that this is actually somebody else's dream that you're in, instead of your own dream, and that you're just a kind of a figure in someone else's dream. But when we basically take it all the way back to the truth, then it can just dawn on us that, oh wait, this is my mind. Everything that I experience, there's even that section, everything that I see and experience is what I desire to experience. There's a little section in the course where he makes it just so unequivocally clear and without compromise. And so basically what you can do is you can just be in your right mind as well. This is really to encourage you to listen to the Holy Spirit very, very deeply during this session, because my voice will be just reflecting what you hear, and it will be speaking, it'll be like a direct line from the Holy Spirit, and it will also cue you into the messages that you're already hearing in your own mind. It's like I'm not going to be telling you anything new that you haven't already heard. It's just going to be reinforcing what deep in your heart you already know to be the truth, and even specific things. Like you may have been receiving guidance to take specific action steps in your life, and the ego may have just been coming in and sabotaging that by saying, well, you don't need to change anything. The A Course in Miracles is not about changing your life, so you shouldn't even, you don't have to change anything. And the truth is that sometimes the Spirit can be guiding us to actually follow a specific, change of course in our life, like maybe quitting our current job and being open to a new job, or maybe questioning whether the relationship that we're in is still helpful and being open to letting it go. And it's not about it's not really about behavior, but it is about being open to letting the behaviors happen through you that will actually be truly helpful. So you may hear some things. I spoke with a woman yesterday who was feeling just kind of stuck, kind of in like a dead-end situation, not working, and feeling like and kind of having this thought that maybe she needs to start working, like get a job. And but she lives in this kind of city where there's a lot of homelessness and a lot of people that kind of remind her of who she used to be. Just kind of people down on their luck and a little bit obnoxious from her perspective. And she had been having the thought that maybe she was supposed to get a job downtown and be around those people, but yeah, a lot of resistance and just feeling a lot of judgments towards them. So she had basically just ruled it out, said, no, I'm not even going to think about that. A Course in Miracles says it's not about changing anything but my mind, so I just need to keep forgiving. But if you're, but she had just kind of closed off like this whole area. And so, yeah, through our conversation, we began to just open up to the possibility, and she actually started to see that this could be an incredibly helpful path for her to take to go and work amongst these people, like the homeless people and the people that she had such strong judgments against, just so that she could practice forgiveness in a more accelerated way. And that's really what guidance is for. I talk a lot about guidance in my talks because I used to, when I was listening to Ken Wapnick in the years past, it helped me to get a very strong metaphysical understanding. But it wasn't until later when I felt like I need a breakthrough in my life. I need to have something actually change in form now, because my current situation doesn't feel like it's vibrant anymore. I don't feel like I'm making any spiritual progress in this old job. That was actually when I was working as a hypnotherapist, and I was guided to make a major change in my life at that point. I was guided to quit the hypnotherapy career, just quit, and become a traveling minstrel, to basically say, okay, Spirit, I'm willing to just be used however you want to use me, and so I did. I sold my house, and I sold most of my possessions, and I was guided to just kind of begin going where I felt called, or where I was invited, or where it seemed that I was being led with my music. And yeah, I just began a whole new phase of life, which, oh my God, my heart just feels like it got blown open. It just got blown completely wide open from that willingness to go through the fear of, well, what I may end up without any money. I may end up living on the streets. I'm giving up my so-called security here with this job and this career, and I have no idea where this is all leading. And that's exactly what the Spirit is telling us. Yeah, you don't know where this is leading. You have no idea. You cannot plan this curriculum. It's already been planned for you. And all you need to do is be willing to open up and accept the very practical guidance that I will give you step by step. It says in one of the very early parts of the course, His voice will direct you very specifically. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's so helpful. Like at every point in the road, we can just tune in and say, okay, Spirit, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? And help me to see this differently, so that I can feel that certainty and be in the flow, and know that I'm loved, and know that I can't really make a mistake in form. Like I really can only make a mistake in my perception of what's happening. So yeah, that's some of the things that I felt to share about the kind of the purpose of this and how the hypnotherapy can help, because you will be hearing specific things coming into your mind, and it won't stop. The Spirit doesn't just say, okay, I give up, like you don't want to hear you don't really want to hear my guidance, so, and you're not willing to follow it, so I'll just I'll just leave you stuck in time and space. The Spirit does wait on invitation. And the Spirit will never force us or kind of try to make any demands. But like it says in one of the workbook lessons, God's voice speaks to me all throughout the day. The Spirit never leaves us. The Spirit never gives up. The Spirit always is continuously offering guidance. And it usually doesn't seem like guidance. It usually seems very natural, like just little prompts, like, oh, I think I'll turn left here at this street. This feels nice. I'll go this different route to work today. Just something feels nice about it. And it could just be little things like that, where you feel like intuitively guided to do things a little bit differently than you would have, than your past learning would have taught you. So yeah, and in hypnosis, it's also important to remember that you're never really asleep. You're actually more alert. Most people think that when you're in hypnosis, you're like asleep, or that you're sort of dead, and in some kind of dead to the world. You're not. You're wide awake. You're in a very attentive state of mind, where you're very just tuned in and receptive. Yeah, the only thing I can really relate it to is like being in the zone. When they talk about like basketball players or different sports athletes, when they're in the zone, when they're just in the flow and they're not thinking about anything except they're just fully in the moment. That's actually a state of hypnosis. it's not the kind of hypnosis where the body is totally relaxed, which this one will be more along those lines, but it's a state of high attentiveness, like very, very, very present, just being very, very present to everything. They actually did an experiment, or there was maybe something happened naturally. I think it was a story I heard about someone who was in hypnosis in their hypnotherapist's office, and the building caught on fire. And you would think that the person in hypnosis would be like the most clueless one who would maybe get out of the building last. And it actually turned out to be the opposite. The moment they smelled the smoke, which was actually before everyone else, because there was heightened awareness of the senses, they jumped up and got out of there really, really soon. So, yeah, you're more attentive, and yeah, you're very relaxed, and you're just in a state of kind of openness and receptivity, and it's and it's all about putting the purpose out front. People would come to me at these seminars I used to do for different things like smoking cessation and weight loss or stress relief. But yeah, I think it's good to set an intention for yourself up front. And it doesn't have to be specific, but if there is something specific that you have in mind, like, say you want to experience freedom in a particular area of your life, you want to experience a deeper peace perhaps in your relationship with so-and-so, or yeah, whatever it seems to be. And in fact, I'd like to just open it up. If anyone feels like they want to just share a couple sentences, we want to keep it really brief because we have limited time here. I want to stay on time because I said this whole session would be an hour. Then I really invite you to share something, and that actually could be helpful because it might, just by sharing it verbally, it may some ideas may come to me that could make the session more helpful for you. So yeah, if anyone has any questions or feels to share just briefly what they are hoping to receive from this session, then I invite you to go ahead and unmute your mic right now and just speak up.
I'm interested in experiencing freedom from judgment and lack.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Tina. Freedom from judgment and lack. Yeah.
And I'm going to move inside because I want to experience freedom from mosquitoes in a couple minutes.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, anybody else? Yeah, Michael. I think you're still muted. I'll go ahead and unmute you in case you were wanting to say something. I'm not sure. I'll see. Oh, there we go. I can hear you now.
Yeah, thank you. I was pressing the unmute thing on the where I see my photo and it wasn't responding. I clicked it 3 or 4 times. I don't know if that's a browser or whatever. Yeah, I would like to heal in the area related to relationships and be able to cultivate trust in that area. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, anyone else? And for those of you who are watching this on the video outside the room, there's a link you can click on which will allow you to type in things. If you'd like to type in anything, that could be helpful. Okay. I'll just... All right. Well, that's good. Okay, we'll just, yeah, it's because it's really not necessary. It's really just that, yeah, we just are tuning into the Spirit and trusting that everything that we need will just be given, and that really the Holy Spirit is the hypnotherapist, is the only hypnotherapist that exists. And I used to talk about this a bit when I was transitioning out of my traditional hypnotherapy career and into more Course in Miracles practice. And I did have a short phase years ago when I started doing for these kinds of seminars. And I would always tell people that, really we're already hypnotized. We've been hypnotized by the ego, unfortunately. But the Holy Spirit is the hypnotherapist, which uses what the ego made, which is hypnosis. Hypnosis is an ego device, because all learning and all anything that involves changing the mind is an ego device. The ego made up everything that of this world, and every learning was made up by the ego, memory. But the Spirit can use everything that the ego made for the opposite purpose of awakening us from the ego. And so the Spirit's basically using hypnosis to unhypnotize us from the ego. And that's what this session is really for. So does anybody have any last minute questions? I want to just encourage everyone to get comfortable now. But I usually say that it's not most helpful to lie down unless you're experiencing a lot of physical pain, in which that would be helpful. But yeah, in general, it's best to be sitting in a chair with your feet flat on the floor and your hands on your thighs, and just sitting straight up. This helps keep the mind focused and alert, which is actually what we want. And I'll be giving you a lot of suggestions that will be saying things like sleep and relax and go deeper, and those are just basically cues to help the body relax, so that it may seem like the body's going to sleep in a physical sense, just becoming so deep, but it's really as the body relaxes, your mind actually becomes very, very attuned to the Spirit, to everything that I'm saying and everything that you're hearing on the inside. So go ahead and get comfortable, and yeah, and if there's any thing you need to, if you haven't remembered to turn your cell phone off or anything like that, that might prevent any distractions during the session, that would be helpful. And I'm going to go ahead and start the music. This is a selection I've chosen of instrumental music that has varying moods to it, and this first one is actually called "The Dreams of Children." So it's quite fitting. Okay. Let me turn this on. Okay. So go ahead and just begin to take just begin to breathe, begin to focus your awareness on your breathing, and go ahead and push play. And just allow yourself to feel everything that you're feeling in the body, everything that you're thinking, everything that you're experiencing. It's all perfectly accepted and okay. And so, regardless of how focused you feel, you can just really be gentle with yourself and just take the full opportunity to let go of every thought, care, and concern that could inhibit the process in any way. It's actually impossible that you can mess it up. You're right here in the perfect place at the perfect time, listening. And the call of your heart is to awaken. The calling of your heart is pure. And you have nothing to fear. So take a deep breath in and hold it in, and then slowly breathe it out. Take another deep breath in, hold it, and slowly let it go. And as you continue to just allow the breathing to flow naturally into the deepest part of your belly, you can rest assured that the Holy Spirit is here, guiding and offering suggestions, loving suggestions to release judgment and the belief in separation. And go ahead and focus on your hands for the moment. You can just notice any tingling sensations in your hand, which is perfectly normal, and then let them go and allow the hands to simply be. And then you can move your awareness into your feet and feel your feet resting on the floor or wherever they are resting, and allowing a deep feeling of relaxation allowing the feet and the ankles to completely be released. They've been supporting you all day long, and it's time now to just give them a break. Give them a nice, easy rest. A time to feel grateful and open to the Holy Spirit. And now allow the relaxation in your feet and ankles to move up into your shins and calf muscles. Your calf muscles are becoming relaxed. You can let them go, feeling loose. Deep sleep is moving into your knees. Allowing your knees to feel relaxed and soft and loose is easy. And so is the healing when entrusted to the Holy Spirit. So easy to be like a little child And now feel the relaxation and deep sleep moving into your thighs. Your thighs are sinking into the chair or the seat or wherever you happen to be sitting. Feels good to go all the way down into a deeper peace, so restful. Allowing deep sleep to move through your body, allowing your pelvic muscles and your bottom to let go, feeling deep sleep, restful, all the way down. And noticing your belly as it breathes and moves in and out. It's very gentle, and it's perfectly okay. All is well. And although the mind may notice certain sensations and judgments and thoughts, this is perfectly natural. It is simply the mind going through the darkness so that it can open to the light. And you can feel now the relaxation moving up through your belly and into your chest. There is a wellspring of light in your heart. And that light is not of you, but for you. And it shines through as you allow all the barriers, all the defenses, all the walls that have been built around the heart to gently fall away. You are perfect in your Christ holy self. And now feel the relaxation moving throughout the chest and into your shoulder muscles. You can let your shoulders drop all the way down. Deep sleep and relaxation all the way down into the arms. Listening very attentively, each and every word supports the attentiveness of the mind. And you can hear me very clearly now. And your mind is such a beautiful place. Such a beautiful place. When you let the light in to shine away the darkness. Now, listen very carefully and feel the relaxation continuing all the way up through the neck, up over the back of your neck, the top of the head, You can feel your forehead becoming smooth and soft. So feeling relaxed, so healing. And I'd like you, as you let everything go all the way inside, allow the body to be given over to the Holy Spirit now, in complete faith that it will be used in a way that is truly healing to all your brothers and sisters. You can now open up your mind to a new possibility and to the purpose of actually being a miracle worker, a teacher of God. And so I'd like you to envision or imagine, however you like, that you are walking down a quiet path in summer in a beautiful pasture. That's not the right word. We'll just say a beautiful place. There are trees around and the sun shining through. And you feel the peace of God in you now. And hear birds chirping nearby. And feel as if you are being carried. Even though it seems that the body is walking itself, it's an experience of just involuntary movement. No effort required. You are the beholder of the dream. Beautiful. Knowing who walks with you. That you're never alone. And loved eternally. Even when you seem to have made mistakes. Which in reality never occurred at all. And I'd like you to find a very nice place in this place of nature, somewhere along the path. Just sit down. You are now sitting down, perhaps leaning against a tree, or wherever you feel most comfortable. And just like Jesus would do very frequently, you are taking time to yourself to pray, to listen, and to humbly ask for guidance. You do not know your own best interests. And like a child, you're willing to ask. And to be open to whatever the Spirit has for you. Knowing that Spirit's guidance may seem to involve things that are outside of your comfort zone. In fact, that's the only way that they can be healing, is to guide you outside of your comfort zone in very easy to comprehend steps, very gentle baby steps, which prove to you that you're not as limited as you thought that you were. And through this step-by-step process of being given guidance that will nourish you and show you that miracles are natural, perfectly natural, and your birthright, you will see that this old world never had anything to offer of value. You will see that you're loved and that you're not alone, and that there actually is a very specific plan of atonement for you, which involves opening up your heart in ways that you cannot predict in advance. Opening up to new people, new situations, perhaps new types of employment. New ways of living, new ways of walking through this world. Everything that you need will be given to you. Everything that you need will be effortlessly provided. For you are a child of God and worthy, so worthy. And so I'd like you to simply be very, very receptive now to any specific prompts that are coming in. And after this session, you may find it helpful to get out a pen and paper and write down anything that you heard. It may have just been simple ideas from the Course, helpful ideas that can pull your mind above the battleground whenever you need them again. And these ideas will continue to come to you, being reinforced over and over again. There is a merge that is happening, in which your mind is emerging with that of your true self, the Holy Spirit and the Christ, at one with God. And this merge is happening now through the ideas and the very specific guidance that is being offered now. And so after this session, you can write these ideas down and simply be open to them. There may be fear that is aroused by considering taking certain action steps in your life that perhaps you've been feeling that you've been needing to take for quite some time. But you don't want to compromise any longer. You're ready, and you're worthy of consistent peace and joy. Life is not just about staying stuck in old situations that no longer serve our awakening. And so the Spirit is with you now. And I'm going to count from 1 to 10. And on the count of 10, you will return to complete, normal, wide-awake consciousness, feeling rested, feeling relaxed, feeling very, very at peace and happy with a sense of new vision, a sense of new purpose, and knowing that actually it's not difficult to follow the guidance of the Spirit, and it's in fact the easiest thing of all. All it requires is a little willingness, or sometimes an abundant willingness. And you're ready for that. So I'm going to begin counting from 1 to 10, and with each number I say, you'll find yourself returning to wide awake in consciousness gradually. And on the count of 10, you'll be wide awake. Here we go now. 1. Beginning to integrate everything that's been shared, everything that you've heard on the inside and through this voice. 2. Feels so good to allow it in. Just allow it all in. All the barriers are falling away, and your life is about to feel new and refreshed and whole. 3. You are free. Free to choose forgiveness. Free to be humble. Free to be at peace in each and every moment. 4. Your mind is worthy. And you know that it's only by your willingness to face any of the darkness that is coming up in your mind that you will be guided through it gently and lovingly and with the lamp of truth. 5. Go ahead and begin to feel your eyes gently opening gradually. You may notice them doing so involuntarily, but no need to force it. 6. Feels so good to hear the angels singing to you and knowing that they are always with you. The symbols of love in your mind surround you, and there is no time when you are alone. 7. 8. The peace of God is here. 9. And 10. Feels good. Come all the way back with your mind listening and tuning back into what seems to be external reality, but may appear completely different now, with more of a shine to it. Yeah. So that was our hypnotherapy session, and yeah, sometimes it's really helpful. I know it's 9 o'clock right now, and I did want to keep it on time, but I do feel like it actually could be helpful for those of you that want to stay in the room a little bit longer. If any of you have anything that you'd like to share, anything you experienced, I would love to hear your experiences of that. If anyone had any insights or just any experiences that felt unusual or happy or just anything, even going through some fear perhaps, but whatever you experienced is perfectly normal, so please do share if you have anything.
Hi. I think my experience was that it helped me to choose my next job, because I've been having issues with thinking I need to have a worldly job and having fear of money issues and all that. So when you were saying about I am a miracle worker, a teacher of God, I thought, yep, okay, that's my job. That's it.
That's it.
Period. So I think it's a process, but I felt, it helped me get one step closer to really completely embracing that.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is my only function.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and if any of you want to continue this on specific things, I offer one-on-one private hypnotherapy as well. And yeah, that can be really helpful. I also do spiritual life coaching, which I utilize hypnosis sometimes, but I also utilize something called NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And it's something I learned years ago, and I just went through a phase where I felt guided to let it go, and now it feels like Spirit saying, nope, now it's time to start offering it again. And it can be used by the Spirit of Truth for no other purpose but awakening. And it may seem to involve, the guidance of the Spirit, like I said, is very practical. And oftentimes with coaching, it involves just really looking at your life and saying, okay, where do I feel like I'm compromising? Where do I feel like I'm just sort of going through the motions and maybe just justifying it? And yeah, it's always helpful to be willing to follow anything. And the Spirit will never ask us to do more than we can handle. The Spirit will never ask us to do something that's too much, that's going to just throw our mind into a panic. But that's what I do in the coaching, is really just help people tune in to what might be their next step for really opening up and experiencing this joy, this vibrancy that just is everything. It's everything. So you can get a hold of me through the website acimmusic.org. But did anybody else have anything they felt to share from their experience? Okay. There we go.
I wanted to say that this is what I've been hungry for. You know, this is what I've been hungry for, and I'm so grateful to you. Thank you, Erik.
Thank you so much, Tina. You're so welcome. Yeah, that's a gift to share that. Wow. Yeah, it's funny because I had a lot of doubt at first when I was You want me to do hypnotherapy again? I couldn't believe it really, but lots of signs and symbols, and yeah, you just confirmed it for me. So thank you.
I mean, to be able to, you know, the unconscious mind is the ego mind that's always telling you there's danger, there's a threat, there's something to fear, you know, and if you can go in and just affect the unconscious mind and just tell it to shut up and tell it that you're only one with God, then that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any last comments from anyone? 9:05, so it feels like a good time to. Yeah, and it's beautiful. Yeah, go ahead.
Michael's trying to say something. Are you, Michael, trying to say something?
No? No? Okay, he's raising his hand. I'll unmute you, Michael, unless it's having a. Yeah.
Yeah, am I
Yeah.
unmuted?
Yeah, you're good now.
Thank you. I just wanted to share that, like, on this particular night, I felt a lot of tension in the body, which doesn't happen that often, and generally I could do mindfulness, but this was like expedited, and then there was an exact moment while you were speaking that I just felt all this happy, like, energy and light come into, like, my entire crown chakra, like my entire head and part, like, down to my heart, and I just started smiling, and it was so involuntary. So that was a pretty neat experience. So the nature of Spirit, the way I just experienced that, it's so happy and light compared to anything else that's of the world. It's like jolliness of Christmas, you know, times 1,000, just a whole
Yeah.
other dimensional quality to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, I do.
But one thing that came up earlier that I thought of sharing, the spirit, I'm getting much better with the Holy Instant and following spirit from all of the wonderful advice that's been shared on the Hangouts and through, the book. And the spirit does not communicate to me, in my case, with words. And I've heard people describe that. Maybe it's just I'm just not there yet, but I don't. I kind of wanted to ask about, do people, if anybody has experience they can share, do people get suggestions through the holy voice, so to speak, that they actually hear through words, or is it just like for me, it's just I have assuredness in the calmness and the fact that it's leading, and I've been able to surrender over to that. But I've never experienced actual words, or I heard, like, for example, I think David said that he experienced the spirit singing to him, and other people had experienced that. Have you guys had some of that?
Well, I want to keep. I kind of want to just keep on time here because it's getting a bit over 9. But I think what I'll do is we can stay on in the Google Hangout, and anyone who wants to go into that a little bit more, after I end the broadcast here, we can do that. But just really briefly, I would say that everyone hears guidance in a different way. Sometimes it's heard through music, internally or externally. Sometimes it's through just little thoughts, and it can be through signposts, billboards. There's so many different ways. But I would say that if anyone else wants to share about that topic, I'll go ahead and we can end the broadcast now, and just to be honoring of everyone, and then we can explore that a little deeper if you'd like. But yeah, I think that the brief answer is just that it's everyone experiences it differently, and however it comes in is beautiful. And does anyone have comments or expressions of gratitude? Well, this has been very, very healing, and I just am very, very grateful for all of you participating and joining me in this. And I look forward to doing more, and I'm sure we'll be in touch. And like I said, if anyone is interested in one-on-one hypnotherapy, just feel free to give me a call and connect with me. All my information is on the website. So lots of love to you. Bye for now.